Hi everyone, and welcome back to the George Collection. I'm Rachel Rightside Blonde. Today marks the 57th episode of the George Collection. 57 is significant because there were 57 issues of the original George, and 57 is George in gematria. For today's special show, I'm going to go back through the first 56 episodes and highlight my top 10 favorite coincidences from George magazine and from the George Collection videos I've made so far. I hope you enjoy. Number 1, the Tiffany blue box. She walked up to the Obamas and she handed them a Tiffany blue box, similar to this one. The significance of this Tiffany blue box is that when JFK Jr. died in his plane crash, he and Carolyn Bissett's bodies were put in Tiffany blue boxes and scattered at sea on July 22nd, 1999. In John Kennedy Jr.'s inaugural issue of George magazine, right next to the features page, features a Tiffany blue box. Number 2, you can't always get what you want. So we hope you enjoy George's take on the future. Why not put it in a safe place somewhere and take it out in 20 years? To paraphrase a great Englishman, it may not get you what you want, but you might just find Number 3, enjoy the show. Favorite political stars in movies. And for the final credits, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert review the hardest job in the world in this month's If I Were President. Surprise! They give it a thumbs, well, I don't want to give away the ending. Enjoy the show. John Kennedy. Number 4, the lung-attacking virus. So now let's move on to the platform 2020. It says, no politician ever lost a vote by invoking the future. You know, our children deserve a better one. And Bill Clinton is building a bridge to a brighter one. It's the most overused word in the political lexicon, yet details are, as usual, sparse. What does the future hold? A new world of promise or apocalypse? We launched a discovery mission to the next millennium to find out what's on the other side. So buckle your chin strap and hold on as George enters the time warp and reemerges in the year 2020. This article is labeled A Nation's Future Foretold, and it has different categories. So the first one is transportation. Some people have built careers hawking the worst case scenario, an overpopulated planet being choked to death by lung-attacking viruses, for example. It's true that frightening global epidemics could arise from a new retrovirus, a killer flu, or an Ebola-type pathogen running out of control. Number 5, the Ben Stiller cover. Today I'm bringing you the August of 1999 issue of George magazine, the political humor issue, which is ironic because this is the first issue after John Kennedy's plane went down. So it's very interesting that right after the month that he dies, the next issue is a political humor issue with Ben Stiller on the cover. Also, something that stood out to me on this cover was that Ben Stiller is wearing a suit with a red tie, and he's talking on a red phone, and there's a red background. So there's a lot of red. As I mentioned before, red in gematria is 27, which comes to code, which comes to JFK. And we know someone else who likes to wear a red tie often. So there's just a lot of red and a lot of things that stood out to me on this cover. Above all, I know magazines have to plan for the future, and so this magazine was probably planned well before John Kennedy's July 16th, 1999 death. So this was already in the works before that time. But I still found it interesting that it was a humor issue the month after July of 1999. I'm not quite sure what to make of this, but wanted to share it with you regardless. The editor's letter from this magazine conveniently is not John Kennedy's letter. It's written by Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller in this issue was the guest editor. So what does this mean? Well, to me it's highly coincidental that the month after John Kennedy dies, which was July of 1999, that he has a guest editor. And of all of the other George magazines, I am not aware of any other guest editors. Maybe there's one that I've missed, but so far I've not seen any other guest editors. And the guest editor is none other than a comedian, someone to make us laugh, someone to tell us jokes. So I don't know what to make of it. You guys can put what you think, but I know I have some theories in my mind floating about, as I'm sure all of you do too. But I just wanted to point that out to you all. Number 6, the April 1999 cover with Hillary Clinton. Number 7, the car ad. Number 8, Donald Trump as the 47th cover. Aside from all of these interesting coincidences, I think the most interesting one is this. Out of 57 original George issues, Donald J. Trump's cover was the 47th. If Donald J. Trump were to come back as president again, he would be president number 47. Now, I already know the theories about the 19th president, so don't come at me in the comments. I'm fully aware of that theory as well. But I'm saying in terms of what things look like right now, he would be the 47th president of the United States. What are the chances that the 47th issue of George would feature Donald J. Trump, knowing the connection between JFK Jr. and Donald Trump? Was it planned that way? Was it a coincidence? What do you think? Number 9, the fact that there were 61 covers, 57 issues, but 61 covers. And unfortunately, I wasn't aware that there were 4 months that actually had 2 different covers. So that makes the total 61, not 58 like I thought. I was correct about the 57 issues, which is great because 57 in gematria is still George, Tesla, Moon, all those things. So those still apply. It is actually better that it's not 58 covers, it's 61 because this makes it a little interesting. So the 61st cover is obviously JFK Jr.'s face. This is the 61st cover. And if you do 61 in gematria, it comes to fake death. So I thought that was interesting. Could just be a coincidence, but I thought I would share it with all of you so that you knew what I found out this week. And number 10, the inaugural issue's word choices. This episode, I just wanted to highlight a few things for you today. And that is the cover itself. When we think back to JFK's assassination, we might think of words like president, bullets, FBI, CIA, and other government officials in general. So on the cover of the first George, it says, inaugural issue, John Kennedy talks to George Wallace, President Madonna, dodging bullets with the FBI's Louis Freeh. And then at the bottom it says, Caleb Carr on the next American Revolution. A lot of people have called this time in history the next American Revolution. It seems like there are entities in place that are trying to turn this into a civil war, but most people would agree that this is not a civil war. This is actually the Second Revolutionary War. This is us regaining our independence in a totally different way. Now that I'm working at George Online, I'm getting a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to put a magazine together. And I can tell you that every single word, every single article, and every single heading is deliberate in these magazines, especially with someone like John Kennedy Jr. running the show. It's no accident that these words were chosen for the cover of this magazine. It's no accident that the next American Revolution was put on this inaugural issue of George. From reading a book by Rosie, which was John Kennedy Jr.'s assistant, and his creative director, Matt Berman, I know he was very involved in the process. He was in the office most days. So he is not someone that would just sit back and let other people run his magazine for him. He was very much involved in this magazine, and I think it shows very much so today.
We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. Proud, proud, proud. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Wyoming. Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed my top 10 list of my favorite coincidences from the original George magazines. I'm sure I'll find more, but which one was your favorite? I would love to know in the comments. That does it for this 57th episode of the George Collection. Thank you so much for watching not only this episode, but the past 56 as well. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.
Magazine, George, which is a hoot of a magazine. I thought you were a lawyer.
I was.
What happened?
Well, we decided, actually taking a cue from folks like yourself and you around the 1992 election, that there was an opportunity here to change the definition of a political magazine. Certainly the way Americans were accessing information about politics and politicians was changing. Candidates were appearing on late night talk shows, on talk radio, on sitcoms, and there was a kind of a leveling process, and while the rest of media clearly had caught up with that, we felt that political magazines per se hadn't.
Your mother was a hell of an editor at Doubleday.
That's what I hear.
Would she have liked George?
I think she would have.